He spent 9 years as an Edmonton Oiler. He also played in Montreal, Phoenix, and Pittsburgh. After 13 years in the National Hockey League, enforcer tough guy George Laraque has hung up his skates and picked up a pen to write a new biography on his life during his hockey career. George Laraque joins us on the show this afternoon. George, let's tell us about your book, NHL's Unlikeliest Tough Guy, and why you decided to write it.
I just decided to write it because companies just approached me and asked me if I was interested of doing my autobiography. And, I thought I was young to do it, but they were really insisting because I wrote it in French and in English. And, even though it was, I really wanted to do that one day, but it came much earlier than I said I would do it. But since I had great offers to do it in both languages, I accepted them and I did it, and it took me a year.
What are some of the topics you talk about in your new book?
Well, I thought that if I was going to write about my life, I was going to write about the way that I grew up, and I knew it would touch a lot of immigrants, a lot of people that have dreams and lived through racism. And there's lots of stuff that I had to fight to fight through to make it in the NHL. So I thought sharing your experience, your struggle, and it could help people that are going through their own struggles. So every story of each athlete is different, and me, the story of perseverance and also the life of a tough guy, so people know how difficult it can be and could understand. So it was important for me to be able to share that light so people could have an idea what it's like to be a tough guy in the NHL.
Now, George, your parents are Haitian immigrants. Do you get to go to Haiti a lot and check things out, especially after, the natural disasters that happened in the last couple of years?
Yeah, actually, when I was released from the Montreal Canadiens, I worked with the NHLPA and the NHL to help and to raise funds to rebuild the Great Children's Hospital in Port-au-Prince, which we did. So when I went back to Haiti, and I went there many times, I helped raise the fund, and we rebuilt the hospital, and it was really important. And it was, my parents were born there, so it was my part that I wanted to do since I was from there.
George, I find your story interesting. As a hockey fan myself, I think about you as one tough dude on the ice who takes no crap from anyone, but off the ice, you're a different guy. You don't like violence, and you're known by other players as a prankster.
Yeah, I am. I've always liked making jokes and being a funny guy, and it's always been my personality. The fact that I was fighting was my job, and that's what I had to do to be in the NHL, but it was never inside of me. One of the biggest criticisms that I've gotten often is the fact that I wasn't mean enough, which to me was pretty weird, the fact that I was fighting for a living. And people saying that I was mean enough when I have over 150 fights in the NHL. But still, outside of the ice, I was able to be myself and joke around and be approachable. But, on the ice, that's what I had to do. But even though I was a fighter on the ice, I was always respecting my opponent, people I was fighting with, and I was always fighting with a code.
Tell us, back in 1993, Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, branching out in that game you love, and then becoming that enforcement over the next couple of years, leading you to the Oilers back in 1996.
No, I knew that when I played junior hockey, to make it to the NHL, I had to fight also to give all the tools and give me all the chance that I could to get drafted. Because, unfortunately for big guys, skill-wise, we're not good enough, just skill-wise, to make it in the NHL. And we're talking on in an era. So I knew for somebody my size, if I could score goals and occasionally, obviously not like a typical goal scorer, and mix in a good fight and have a good reputation, I knew I was going to get drafted in the NHL.
Coming to the NHL, you debuted back in 1997 with the Edmonton Oilers. You played for the Oil, the Phoenix Coyotes, the Penguins, the Montreal Canadiens. Was there a place when you played that you absolutely enjoyed playing at?
Well, I enjoy playing everywhere because it's a privilege to be in the NHL, and wherever you play, it's a dream. But obviously the place that I have the best memories is Edmonton, because the place I played the longest, where I had my best memories, my best years. And I still call Edmonton home today. And my kids live in Edmonton, so I have twins. So for me, Edmonton is always going to be a place close to my heart.
I'm sure you follow the Oilers, especially right now. What's your current take on the team?
Well, I like the fact that they went for a new direction, new coach, new GM, new everything to kind of have a different breed. It might take a couple years for them to get that team into a different direction as they were heading before, because before the direction of the other, when they were struggling, they were kind of doing just a rotation, but it was always the same idea. So when you bring new ideas, new breeds, new people, it changes things, but it takes a couple of years to do so. So obviously they have a better team, so I think they're probably going to be battling for a playoff spot. Hopefully they're going to make it, but it's going to be really, really hard because, I thought they were a lock for sure to make the playoff, but as you could see, they're still young, and they looked at the two games that I saw, they looked a bit lost still. In defense, obviously the forwards they have is really good, top lines and stuff, but I think the defense is a bit to work on and stuff. That might be the weak spot. They have a really good goalie, but man, he gets tested big time. So, but I wish them the best because for years, Edmonton's been patient with the first pick, and they deserve being so patient and stuff. They deserve a team that will bring them back to the playoffs. Because since the last year I was there, which was 2006, how could we lose the Stanley Cup final and they have not made the playoff ever since? It's almost like it was a curse.
Do you miss playing the game, George?
No, because I played 13 years in the NHL, and when you play 13 years and you're a fighter, it's well above the average. So I feel privileged, and when I was released, I was released because I had 2 herniated discs, and I couldn't do it anymore. And, I feel privileged to have been there for that long and never got seriously hurt. That now, today, I can enjoy a really good lifestyle and not suffering from any repercussion of having fought for 13 years.
Grab his new book at a store near you. It's called NHL's Unlikeliest Tough Guy, Mr. George Laraque. Thanks a lot, George, for joining us.
Thank you very much, brother.